Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're excited to welcome you today to our apprenticeship webinar. This is actually the first time we've done a webinar on this topic, and I was just telling our speakers that I'm so excited to share this information with you because there are so many opportunities. I understand there are currently 10 occupations of this apprenticeship that are available to those coordinating with HCC right now. Our primary presenter will be Jackie Anna. She is the grants and outreach coordinator at HCC. She's been assisting with writing the grant narratives and doing outreach for the apprenticeship program. And she came to HCC from the Providence Center, a small nonprofit where she managed it and reported on multiple grant cycles and assisted in cultivating donor relations. Joining her is Adrienne Summers, who is the Director of Apprenticeship and Workforce Innovation. And she will actually be with us as well when we do our upscaling program, which I encourage you all to register for the upskilling class, which we're very much looking forward to. And Adrienne established HCC's apprenticeship program in 2018, and she comes with a background in business management and also education, and she's really passionate about connecting employers and students to fulfill talent pipelines and promoting apprenticeship to educate employers about the benefits of hiring an apprentice. So we're very lucky to have these two presenters today, and I'm going to turn it over to them.
All right, thank you everyone. I want to apologize first for my audio. I know it's a little bit quiet, but hopefully you all can hear me enough.
Yeah, we can hear you. And also be aware, everyone, we do have the closed captions. If you're having any difficulty hearing, the closed captions are generated automatically, so there might be some errors. But if you are having any issues with hearing, you can look at the closed captions. Thanks.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Oh, I'm not able to host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, you should be good now. You should be good.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our apprenticeship programs here at HCC. So what is an apprenticeship? It's a work-based model of employment that trains a worker to learn specific skills. It's a combination of on-the-job training, mentoring, and classroom instruction. Apprentices may be a current or a new employee, and they do receive a progressive wage. So students are typically still attending school while they're going to get the coursework or the related instruction that will complement the on-the-job training, and they do work full-time and go to school part-time. The apprentices are also paired with a mentor from the company. They help the students learn new skills, kind of about the job and the company, and it also allows the employer to kind of mold the potential apprentice with their company culture and values. So they're basically taking them from ground zero up. And how do students benefit? So apprenticeship offers students the ability to earn college credit, certifications, and related instruction. They receive the on-the-job training, and they do get a progressive wage. So HCC courses are usually paid by the employer, and there is career and long-term employment. So this is a very unique opportunity we have at Howard Community College. Apprenticeship is a lot different than an internship. So with an internship, they are typically short-term, typically maybe lasting a semester, or a year. Nothing is really guaranteed with the company after they're done their internship. And then with the apprenticeship program we have, it's truly a career and not a job. The students or apprentices will continue to work for that company once they are finished with the program. So these are our various programs we offer at Howard Community College. We have Biomedical Engineering Technology, or BMET, Construction Management, Electrical Worker, Heating, Ventilation, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration, or HVAC, Information Technology, which has 3 occupations or career tracks, and Software Development, which also has 3 career tracks, and they're listed. The software developer, DevOps, software engineer / architect, and data engineer, data warehousing specialist. So with our biomedical engineering technology, or BMET, like I said before, the apprentices will install, maintain, and repair medical equipment used in hospitals, clinics, and other patient care locations. It is typically a 3.5-year program, and the apprentices receive 6,000 on-the-job training hours at the completion. With this particular apprenticeship program, the students are required to complete a 14-credit pre-apprenticeship and maintain a 2.75 GPA. So at the completion of it, they'll get an AAS degree in biomedical engineering technology. And I believe this application is currently live on our website. So if anybody is interested, feel free to check out Howard Community College apprenticeship page. Construction management. So apprentices build a portfolio demonstrating competency in construction safety, field surveying, blueprint, reading, material testing, and project closeout. So our construction management program is a 2-year program, and the apprentices receive 4,000 on-the-job training hours. And the certifications that are earned upon completion with the construction management program are Construction Management Certificate, an OSHA 30 certification, a CPR certification, and they're also eligible to take the Construction Manager in Training certification exam. Next, we have our Heating, Ventilation, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Apprenticeship Program, or HVAC. And we've partnered with the Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors of Maryland, or HAC. The apprentices will receive hands-on training and instruction in topics including installing, servicing, and repairing heating and air conditioning systems. So this is a 4-year program. The apprentices receive 8,000 on-the-job training hours, and upon successful completion, the apprentices are eligible to earn their Maryland HVACR journeyman license without needing to take the exam. We do have an information session coming up for our next HVAC cohort, which is going to be Thursday, April 15th, so tomorrow night at 6, from 6 to 7, and there is an Eventbrite where you can register for the event, and I believe I emailed those, and I think they're going to be posted in the chat, or I can post them in the chat once I'm done. So if anybody's interested in attending our HVAC info session, it'll go over all the requirements for the program, the application process, any information you need in a little bit more detail. And this is our electrical apprenticeship. So HEC partnered with Independent Electrical Contractors, Chesapeake, or IEC, to offer their electrical worker apprenticeship program. This one is a 4-year program, and the apprentices receive 8,000 on-the-job training hours. Upon completion, the apprentices receive a national credential as a journeyman electrician and their journeyman's license in DC or Hartford County, and they don't have to sit for the exam, which is a pretty unique opportunity as well. They also earn advanced standing towards an electronics technology associate in applied science or electrical and engineering associate in applied engineering. And with our electrical program, there is one cohort a year. And I believe the application is going to be opening online, and the next cohort starts in January of 2022. In our IT Information Technology Apprenticeship, it's an opportunity to start a career in one of the three IT occupations, or we call them career tracks. So there's IT field support, network field support, and information security. Apprentices will receive training, work experience, and a security clearance, which is with a national employer that we've partnered with. And it's a 2 to 3 year program, depending on what career track you will be. And they receive 3,000 to 4,200 on the job training hours and must maintain a minimum of 2.75 GPA. Upon completion, they'll earn the certifications in CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, and they earn advanced standing for several of HTC's cyber technology degree pathways. And we do have an upcoming information session for those interested tonight, actually, at 7 p.m. So that's also you also need to be registered through Eventbrite, so I can also post that, or maybe somebody else can post that in the chat. So if anybody is interested, you guys can register. And the application is open for our IT program, and it'll probably be open until the end of April. In our software development program, it's an opportunity to start a career in one of the three software development tracks. So there's software application development, computer systems engineering, or data engineering. It is a 2-year program with 3,000 on-the-job training hours, and they also must maintain a 2.7 GPA, just like the IT. And when they're finished, they do receive Microsoft certification in Azure. And I believe with Apprentice, or with software development and IT in the 3 career tracks, the company or the employer chooses the career track. So it's just kind of based on what's available at the time, if anybody is interested in a certain career track. And this is just an overview of all of our apprenticeship programs and just kind of how they've been growing since we started, or since Adrian started back in 2018. We started with HVAC, and we're continuing to grow and add new occupations all the time. I know that there's a couple new occupations that are actually in the works right now, and will probably be available this fall. All right, so how do I get hired as an apprentice? First, you must apply to Howard Community College, and then apply to the secondary application. So depending on which occupation or program you're interested in, there is a secondary application for students or apprentices. And then depending on what placement testing is necessary, that would have to be scheduled. You should also start preparing your resume, and you can also visit our career services for any assistance with preparing your resume or getting ready for an interview, because that would be the next step, is prepare to be interviewed. And then after that, you can contact us for any questions at our email at apprentice@howardcc.edu. And that email will get sent to everybody on the apprenticeship team, so someone will reach back out to you and respond and let you answer any of your questions you have. And that's pretty much all I have. I don't know if there's any questions. I did see a couple of chats come through. Stop sharing my screen real quick.
Yeah, one thing that really captured my attention, Jackie, is the apprenticeship in IT offering a security clearance.
Yeah,
That's a huge benefit right there in terms of being able to even attend some job fairs. Could you talk more about that? Because I know we see a lot of people in the library who are preparing for those IT exams.
Yeah, of course. So we partnered with a national employer, and a lot of the work that the apprentices will be doing are government contracts. So there is a federal security clearance process that can take around a year. So It is an extensive process, but you do end up with the highest level of security clearance for IT. And before you do get approved with that security clearance, you'll be working with the employer part-time. So then once that security clearance gets approved, then you'll go full-time working with either one of the employers, and then you'll be still doing work for the rest of the part-time. I don't know if Adrian wants to add anything else to that either.
That's a good overview. Again, it's very important to note that this does have a security clearance, so which is huge. Our partners, there are 2 companies that are part of the IT apprenticeship. They do require an additional 2-year commitment working for them at the conclusion of the apprenticeship. Again, the neat thing about apprenticeship is the employer is paying for all of your tuition fees, books, all of your HCC expenses. They're providing on-the-job training, as well as providing you a career, paying you a progressive wage. So it's a really great opportunity. And in addition, on the IT, they're providing that security clearance. So for anyone, this is a great opportunity to get the experience coupled with the classroom work.
And I do see that the Eventbrite were posted in the chat, so if anybody's interested, feel free to register through those links.
Yeah, I had another question. Can you talk a little bit? I know the program is only been in place for a couple of years, but do you have any sort of stats on what the rates have been for transitioning to actual employment, either with the group that you're apprenticing with or in other with other groups in the same field? What are your stats for ultimate employment?
So when an apprentice starts the apprenticeship, they're hired typically full-time by the employer. The only exception to that is our IT apprenticeship. And the reason that it is an exception is because they are working first in uncleared space. They work part-time. They guarantee 20 hours for the work experience, the hours per week. Once the security clearance is obtained, they are transitioned over to full-time work. But again, you can't start in classified work until you have that clearance. And it does take anywhere from typically 12 to 18 months to make that transition. Currently, we've been doing this since January of 2020 for the IT. We have about 44 students currently as part of our IT apprenticeship. And of those, about 12, there may actually be more than that right now, about 12 of those students have been transitioned over to the security clearance, so they are full-time employees. And all of the rest of the occupations, the employee starts full-time, so that is their job. And at the end of the apprenticeship, they still stay with that company. So it's not a situation where they need to find a different job. That is their job, their career, from the onset of the apprenticeship all the way through to whenever they leave the company.
Thanks.
And we have about 130 apprentices currently in all of our programs at Howard Community College. So that's about 130 students that are working in an apprenticeship, have a job, have a career, receiving a progressive wage, and all their tuition fees and books are being taken care of by the employer.
These are really exciting opportunities. We have another question. Is there information available for projected pay for these programs?
So all of them are typically a living sustainable wage. There are different touch points. So again, a progressive wage is just that. It's a progressive wage. Everyone must start at minimum at minimum wage. They can't go below minimum wage. Typically, we're seeing anywhere from $12.50 to $15 an hour in a starting rate. But again, as the experience and as the classroom is completed, those wages are going to increase during the duration of the apprenticeship. And then at the end, they're obviously going to be at a higher rate of pay for that particular occupation.
Do we have any other questions from anyone? Yeah, I know I have a lot of things that I am wondering about as well. In terms of your student cohort, are you finding more that they're students just coming out of high school, or are they people coming in who want to change careers or get a new educational path? What are the ages and the demographics? I'm really curious about that.
So traditionally, the demographic of most of the apprenticeships is the 18 to 24 age. That is the highest population. However, we are seeing all ages, all demographics, men and women, veterans, minorities, taking advantage of the opportunities. We have had many students that have already earned a bachelor's degree. Some have even earned a master's degree that are changing careers and coming back to HCC, entering the apprenticeship programs. So because you have that higher level of education does not preclude you from entering an apprenticeship program. It's just been a really cool opportunity to see the different demographics that are entering this program for the very different reasons that they're entering this program. During the pandemic, all of these occupations that we've offered are essential employees. They have all stayed and maintained their employment. We've had no layoffs,
Wow.
nothing. So they have worked the entire time.
Fantastic. And we have another question. How competitive is the application process?
So the IT and the software development are more competitive. But I will say that our IT numbers, the employers do take a higher number of students. It's all based on the needs at the time. So it's hard to say how competitive it is. Up into the last cohort, they took all the eligible applicants that we had. This last cohort became a little more competitive, and there were students that did not get in to the apprenticeship. That was more as a result of COVID because their needs were not as great during the last period. We don't know for the needs this time period what the numbers are because again, the application is just opened. We don't know how many applications we'll receive. I will say with a federal security clearance, you must be a US citizen, you must be 18 years old, and you must be clearable. That means you must be eligible to earn that federal security clearance and that there's not something in your background that would preclude you from doing that. Things that potentially can preclude you is recent drug use, any type of illegal substances, any type of criminal records, etc. But again, a federal security clearance is looking at your entire history. So if you were a college student, potentially, they're looking at the distance in time. That definitely, if you've made some wrong choices in the past, that you are making the right choices now. And honestly, being honest during the whole application process.
Very, very helpful information. What are the companies for IT and biomedical engineering? Can you name any of the companies?
So the company for IT is AT&T, located here in Columbia. So these are all local companies that are working with us with the apprenticeship. We also have partnered with SCD IT. SCD IT is a subcontractor of AT&T. So they are our two companies for IT. And then our company for software development is New Wave, and they are primarily in the health IT space. So there could be other employers that may join us in the software development occupations, but for right now, it is health IT is the primary space that New Wave is in at this point in time.
Mhm. We're welcoming any other questions. Any more questions about specifically about one of the 10 programs?
So I will go over the different start and application times. For AT&T, there are 2 cohorts that start each year. We have a fall cohort. That application is open right now. So the application that's open until April 30th will start in August. And then we will have another application period, September, October timeframe, and they will begin in January. Software development enters 1 time per year as of right now. That will be a fall application for a January start. Electrical will have potentially a fall and a spring start. We just started that one this past January, this past spring. We will have another cohort starting in the fall. HVAC, the application is currently open, and that has a start date of September. Let's see, Biomedical Engineering is open now. The pre-apprentice will begin this summer with the actual apprenticeship starting in January. The pre-apprentice is 14 academic credits where a student is responsible for those completion of those courses on their own. And then they will transition over to the apprenticeship for the remaining 46 credits where the employer will be responsible for paying. And the 14 pre-apprentice are the standard courses, English, math, physics, and a biomedical engineering course. And typically they can complete those summer and fall to be ready for a January start. And then the last one, construction management. Right now, we do not have employers that are accepting new apprentices. So right now we're recommending to talk to our advising staff. You can start the program, and then as openings open, then you will have the opportunity to potentially join an employer. We cannot make any guarantees because, again, the employers right now that are in the program currently all have apprentices.
Thank you. And I'm wondering the workforce investment funding, the federal funds that are available, have you found that those are relevant to any of these programs? Do any of your students have the ability to access these funds if they're training in another field or getting a new degree?
So for the apprenticeship, in the event that they are working for the employer is paying for their tuition fees, books, etc. So there's
okay.
Correct. There's no funding issue for that.
Okay.
If, like, for example, our construction management, if they're definitely interested in that in a career, but right now we do not have available employers, they can certainly start the program on their own. And that's where some of the federal dollars and the scholarships, the funding opportunities, the grants would be eligible to assist students in those type of endeavors.
Yeah, they're all excellent opportunities. I hope people
Correct.
I hope people learn about this and know what's out there for them.
Right. And the BMET pre-apprentice would be something where some of the funding opportunities could go towards a student for their pre-apprentice courses.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. It looks like we have, do you have to take any prerequisites for the IT and biomedical programs, and do the 14 credits have to be accomplished at HCC? Questions from 2 different people.
Correct. So the prerequisites for the IT and the biomedical programs. So for the biomedical programs, you have to be college ready. That means you will need to take your placement tests unless you have prior college work completed to be eligible to sit for English and math, college level English and college level math. IT, we're requiring that you have completed either a HCC computer science course, 3 credits or above, a STEM course, 3 credits or above, may have a current certification of such as the A+. HCC also is offering the new Google IT support certificate. So that is also something that can be completed as a prerequisite. And ironically, we will be offering a special A+ boot camp this summer to prepare someone to sit for the exam. If you'd like more information about that, we'll have a summer course. It is in the process of being finalized. You can always email our apprentice at howardcc.edu. There will be an application specifically for that course because the idea is this is a course and we expect you to apply for the IT apprenticeship opportunity. And I'm sorry, that's the 2 prerequisite. Do the 14 credits of the biomedical engineering technology course need to be done at HCC? No, they do not, but they do need to transfer and meet the HCC requirements. So that will be evaluated through a transfer coordinator at HCC to check those credits. And I think there's been another question.
Yeah, the funding for the 14 credits, are there specifics about how much of those credits could possibly be funded through federal funding?
So you're eligible to fill out a FAFSA form, and obviously whatever FAFSA form determines your eligibility. With a community college, a lot of times if you're Pell eligible, you may receive funding to be able to cover that. Again, there's a lot of different financial regulations of the number of credits you need to take per semester based on income levels. So there's many different things that are taken into consideration. HCC also has their own scholarships, so that's definitely something that you can apply for HCC scholarships. Obviously the FAFSA, Columbia Workforce Services, because this is an apprenticeship, there also may be funding opportunities through Columbia Workforce that you can also explore to see if you're eligible. So yes, there are various funding sources that can assist with those 14 credits because it is a specific pre-apprenticeship program.
Yeah. Yeah, and my understanding is if you are currently in a field that jobs are limited or jobs are, it's a field that isn't moving forward into the future, that increases the chances that one of those workforce investment funding sources would be available to you through the Columbia Workforce, and you could explore that. They're on Gateway Drive.
Correct.
But you would call.
Correct. And yes, there will be funding opportunities for the A+ certification course this summer. And is it virtual? Yes, that particular course will be virtual this summer. I will say that a lot of our apprenticeship courses are now being offered in a hybrid format because, again, all of the students are working in a regular job site, so they are attending work. It's really important to have that on, the lab experience at HCC. So there are quite a few labs that the students are meeting in person in the lab, and then the lecture portion is being done virtual. So these are not all 100% virtual at this time. And obviously moving forward with the fall, that same thing will take place with a minimum of a hybrid opportunity for this fall. Will they be in the classroom some? Because again, they'll be working full time.
Yeah, some tremendous opportunities.
The boot camp is approximately, I believe it's 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. I think it's 16 sessions. So that would actually be 2 times a week in the evenings. So that would be 8 weeks. And I believe the plan is to have a June offering and a July offering. The July would be right after the 4th of July. The June will probably be early June. So we'll have 2 opportunities. But this will be a grant that we've received in order to offer this training. But the expectation is that the applicant is going to be applying for the IT apprenticeship program.
Well, it looks like we have answered all of the questions, and I was really excited to hear about all of this. Let's see.
Are prerequisite needed for the boot camp? No, prerequisites are not needed for the boot camp. But again, this is a certification. It's an A+ certification. HCC will also include the voucher necessary to sit for the exam. We include. So definitely that's another opportunity for funding.
Well, again, this has been so helpful, and those of you who are, oh, we have one more question. This will be our last question. Must you apply for the IT apprenticeship, or do you just take the boot camp? Can you just take the boot camp?
So the boot camp we're receiving the funding for the apprenticeship.
I see.
So because of that, this is specifically for the IT apprenticeship. We do offer A+ course, network security plus. We do offer those in individual courses. Unfortunately, I do not have a grant attached to this right at the moment, but there are funding opportunities at HCC if you need help taking any of those certification classes.
Great. Okay. Well, just to reiterate to everyone, I'm sure you found us through the class and events page on hclibrary.org, but I do encourage you to go there and check out some more of our classes. We have some wonderful classes coming up. One class that I'd love to call to your attention is our upcoming talk about Anne Frank. That is coming up on May the 6th, what we can learn from Anne Frank, her life and surprising legacy. I have also put a couple of links in the chat here to upcoming job classes. As I mentioned, Adrian will be on the panel for the upskilling class for the certifications information through HCC. We have a federal employment class coming up. In June, we have a salary negotiation class coming up, the first one we've done on that. So I do definitely encourage you to check out the classes and events page. I did put a link to our survey. We always want to hear from you about what other classes you want. And
if anyone has additional questions from HCC, we've put in the email address, which is apprentice@howardcc.edu, or certainly visit our apprenticeship page, which is howardcc.edu/apprenticeship. And that will take you to all of our occupations that are currently listed. Please check back often. We know that we will have 2 more offerings this fall of 2 new occupations. And we are exploring and expanding all of the time. So we never know what's going to be next that's going to happen in the apprenticeship space.